City of Stevens Point Board of Park Commissioners meeting, recorded May 1st, 2024.
Excuse me, good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is May 1st. It is the Board of Park Commissioners meeting. First of all, I want to welcome our newest Alder representative, Dustin Boozy. Welcome.
Thank you.
We'll go through roll call, and then there'll be a test afterwards. So,
Taking notes.
So, Director Kramer, would you mind calling the roll, please?
Alder Broderick.
Here.
Alder Boozy. Here. Freckman. Here. Disher. Here. Ledusky. Here. Alder Keemer.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
O'Connor.
Here.
Shabilsky. Here. Sorensen.
Here.
And Wynn.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Dan. Agenda item number 2 would be a review and approval of the April 3, 2024 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Wynn, second by O'Connor. Is there any discussion or changes that need to be made? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, agenda item number 3, lease agreement with Golden Sands Resource Conservation and Development Council for the Stevens Point Area Neighborhood Garden.
So this is a long-term agreement. The garden's been at that site for several years. Our agreements typically had been set up for three-year termination clauses, and then we had revisited them. If you recall, 3 years ago, we actually set the one up that's on Franklin Street as automatic renewing with a notice. So because of the collaborative partnership and what they're doing at this site, and because we've not done long-term plans for other things, this agreement, we had spoken back and forth. They like the automatic renewal as well, with the ability to serve a notice if we'd ever want them to do something differently. A couple other things that they are planning, they would like to put a garden-style shed there to allow them to put a mower inside of it as well as garden tools. The ability of it being a garden-style is that it could be moved, so if the city ever ran into some sort of item where they'd want it to be in a different location, it could be slid around on the site. And they also are looking at potentially something like a Sandpoint well. They'd have to work through all permitting with the city departments if they do go forward with something like that. So other than that, this has been a really great partnership because we otherwise would just be mowing grass at this site. So it gets used by a lot of community members, and it's the same organization for both of our garden sites that we work with. So staff does recommend approval with those changes on the automatic renewing 3-year term.
A motion to approve. A motion by Mr. Disher to approve as presented, second by O'Connor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, thank you, everybody. Agenda item number 4, Boys and Girls Club, a landscaping extension and lease amendment for Gerke Park. Just a couple of things, a reminder, you got some information this morning, and Peter Gebhardt is here from Boys and Girls Club, so, and I see that Kevin Cavillion, the executive director, is online. So Peter, would you mind going up to the podium, just introduce who you are and what you do, and kind of walk us through the packet that we received today, and kind of just help us understand what you're hoping to do.
Yep, Peter Gebhardt, Director of Facilities, Grounds, and Safety for Boys and Girls Club, Portage County. We would like to improve the grass and the landscaping along Michigan Ave for both the Parks Department and the Boys and Girls Club Burrard Center, as well as a little bit of grass on the east side of entrance to our building that we don't really have the ability to irrigate and whatnot. We wanted to turn that into a paved area with some benches for seating for the kids and whatnot. We're working with Pulaski. He drew up some plans for us. On the map here is the irrigation lines where he would be sprinkling that. He would install that. He'd put in some other landscaping as you saw in the agenda here. And then we wanted to revise our lease with the city for the grounds to reflect the patio. That was approved by the committee last year, but never added to the lease agreement. And then put a clause in there that we'd be taking care of the irrigating and maintenance of that moving forward. There's the amendment to the lease agreement Dan has up for us. Anything else?
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, just to build off what Peter said, so this is, the agreement has been reviewed and ultimately finalized by the city attorney, so the city staff is agreeable with everything that's proposed here. Long-term, implications, essentially, if something would ever change with the footprint of our building, our Boys and Girls Club, we would just revisit the lease at that point. There is a 90-day clause in here in terms of if something ever had to be removed for something else. So both sides feel comfortable with that. This just basically captures what you've already approved, which is the concrete patio. That's a really nice improvement. Certainly looks really nice from the road, and the Boys and Girls Club function and use it every day. This will be a continuation of that. Staff is agreeable to it, and we recommend approval based on the terms that are included here in the agenda.
So, guys, any questions for Peter in terms of the images that have been presented before we go ahead and take any action that we'd want to?
Yes.
Where are you obtaining your plants? I might have some to donate. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, we talked with the Berards. They said they might have some. I was in work with Schulfers. And then I know the gardeners and different groups came up to help us acquire the plants for the project. So
Oh, okay.
we'd be looking for donations where we can get them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other questions for Peter?
I'd like to move to approve this item.
All right, so we've got a motion to accept the proposal in the way it's presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a second from Liz McDonald. All those in favor of accepting what's been proposed and the changes to the MOU with the Boys and Girls Club signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, Peter, Kevin, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 5, and Ian is already ahead of everything.
Hello. Maybe a little slideshow or some visual interest.
The PowerPoint.
Okay, so this year was hopefully like no other, in which we had the Gerke project going on through all of our season, 2023-24 season, which encompasses really the football season, the hockey season, and now into track and lacrosse. Technical difficulty.
That's not the right
He's
proposal.
just going to push buttons till it starts.
Oh, that'd be so sad.
Keep talking.
That proposal.
Okay. So aside from all of the project work that's happening around Gerke Park, we still had all of our programming, which went uninterrupted and, was very successful and flourished. So Gerke Project Phase 2 is wrapping up. We have a little bit of outside work and a few inside small details to go, but in general, we'll be seeing the end of that real soon. What's going on?
It's going to be on in just a second.
Okay, good.
Apologize for the delay.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll keep going.
Here we go.
So this is a funny picture I wanted to share. I deemed this season Embracing Chaos, and this is a picture of me and my desk immediately after the ice show, which is just piles and piles of stuff everywhere, and it makes me laugh, and it's definitely going to be one for the scrapbook for me, because being displaced out of the office and working out of the meeting room was really interesting for not only me, but all other staff and the programming as well. Next. So that's what we're talking about, the stadium and the Willet. Next. So how it started and how it's going. So that picture was taken yesterday, and there's actually been a lot of improvements since that photo was taken. We got some topsoil and some railings and more siding. So it's really coming fast now that it's May. So next. You can see the siding going up and the earthwork happening. That was from today. Next. Some other notable improvements. We have the team room railings up, and the team room is ready for use. Next. And our new office space and our new vestibule space, which is really great for climate control on the east side of that building. Next. Another major project that we had last year, but I'm rolling it into my report because I haven't talked to you since a year ago, was our roof project. So we had major damage to the roof covering, and we were getting leaks in the Willet. So we had a capital project and got into tearing that roof off, found lots of, rusted out, rotten spots that they had to repair, added insulation, and then recapped it with a membrane, so it should be good to go for another 30-plus years. And it's beautiful, and it's easy to walk on. It doesn't catch water, and we're just real happy with that roof. Next. Another project, we got some safety funds from Corey and the safety grant monies that are available through the city, and put on this safety ladder and hardware cloth around our dehumidifier platform. Before there was no ladder, we'd have to haul out a ladder and try to make it work in this grass and sidewalk area, and it just was not ideal. So we had a ladder fabricated for the bottom section as well as the top section, so we have access to the roof. But then the hardware cloth around the railing also acts as a deterrent for anyone who shouldn't be on that platform in the roof to not be. So that is complete, and that is in function because we get on that roof at least once a month, if not more, to check equipment, change filters, and what have you. And then another major purchase we had at the Willet was a makeup air unit that services the home team locker rooms. The old unit was just at the end of its life and was not heating the air that was exchanging from those locker rooms, and as a result they were freezing cold in the winter, and of course not the best smelling, but I'm happy to report they smell the best I've ever smelled them. The coaches and the players, I haven't heard any grumbling, so I think that is a definite success. So yeah, this fall we go into football. We had 33 home games. That's middle school, high school, and the college, along with our youth area football program. That field is utilized daily all fall, August, September, October, November. And our full-timer employees with the Parks Department help host those games, so they're on site to make sure everything goes smoothly and make sure there's no issues with the facilities themselves. So we manage that schedule through the fall. And our seasonal staff also works in the capacity of the concession stand. So I start hiring our seasonal staff. This past year we had 32 employees that helped run football concessions and the Willet. You can see the job descriptions posted there. So we have a number of roles in which all those people fulfill. And of course we couldn't do all we do without them, so they play a really important part. We have a lot of college kids, people, and a few high schoolers as well. So it works out really good for scheduling because it's a lot of evenings and weekends. And so then in hockey season, we hosted 43 games over the hockey season, and that's the UWSP men, women, and SPASH. So I did the math, it's 2.5 games a week for 17 weeks. So we're really grinding it out through the winter, flipping that building, cleaning everything multiple times a week. When it's go time, it's go time. We pull in a lot of help from other divisions in the department. So Steve and all the other folks over at the Parks Department will come and pitch in a couple times a week to make the building look the best it can be for all of those activities. Next. We had a great Learn to Skate session this season, and I think there were 26 registered skaters with the fall session and the winter session, which is just tremendous. Last year, we got an award from the Learn to Skate USA organization. so 300 skaters or more is some significant level, so they gave us a plaque and said that we were the #1 attended program in the state of Wisconsin, so that was really cool. And I attribute a lot of that success to those ladies right there. Those are our instructors. And Katie Baton, center left, is our head instructor. And she does a great job of designing that program and running it with the help of the other instructors. Next. So with the Learn to Skate program, we have a culminating event, the Ice Show, which we partner with Crystal Ice Figure Skating Club. And this year we had 120 participants, which is a nice improvement over last year and is getting back to pre-COVID levels of involvement. We had an increase of attendance. So, the show overall was more profitable, and so that program is definitely on solid ground. And through COVID, it was not so much, but now we are, and it is just loved by the figure skating community. It's a full week of setup and then 3 shows, and by the end of it, everyone is completely exhausted and so happy, and they do a great job. And that's Katie and her little girl there, so I would point her out again because she's our show director. So I'll give her more props. This is just a little snapshot of our budget, so you can see that it takes a significant amount to run the show, $22,000, but we are in the black. This doesn't include some other expenses like ice time and full-time help, but overall the program is paying for itself, which was not always the case, so I'm very happy with those results. Next. But the Ice Show, I do roll that into the larger Learn to Skate program when considering the financials. So you can see, we're budgeted to take in $25,000 for skating lesson revenue, and we crushed that with $42,000. And so I feel like it's a definite wash between the Ice Show and the Learn to Skate programming overall, and a tremendous benefit to the community. So overall, it's definitely worth it. And that brings us to spring, and track and lacrosse are ongoing right now. We have 10 scheduled track meets and lacrosse games, and then of course the 2-day elementary track meet, which is always a raucous affair at the end of May. So the field is active again. There's folks out there every night, and it looks better than ever. It's just shining. Next. I would be remiss if I didn't mention concessions. We did $100,000 in concessions last year, which is just mind-blowing, but it's true. And, we opened for games more than we ever have, and, we really watch our profit margins, so, we make sure our staffing levels are not exceeding what is appropriate. So we're doing really well on concessions, which is helping our budget overall and allowing us to do other things with it, like buy new rental skates and, finish these little odd projects that I seem to dream up daily. And just for fun facts, we sold 6,874 bags of popcorn in 2023. That's a lot of popcorn. And there's me in my happy new office, and there's no junk around me, and it's so clean, and so I don't know what to dub the next season, but it's not going to be chaos. Do you have anything to add, Dan, or is there any questions I can answer?
I actually do have some things to add. So Ann is modest in a lot of ways. I will tell you, we brought big contracts here, and you all approved them that brought a lot of usage to the Willett and to the Gerke Stadium, but they only work because Ann and her team make them work. So we went from, lots of holes during the week where, teams used to never practice at the football stadium because of the way it was set up. Now with unlimited use, every day there's somebody there. So you get into priority scheduling. So, 3 people contact you, say you want to be on a Tuesday night at 3 o'clock. Ann's got to work through who gets first priority and keep the peace, in addition to staffing all the additional concession staff, making sure we're buying product at all-time highs. So the logistics, the maintenance, the flipping over of locker rooms, none of that's possible without Ann and her team making that happen. So I'm on the front end. We see these shiny buildings and kind of new upgrades we did, which are great. They're fantastic for our community. But if we weren't living up to the contractual obligations, quite simply, they wouldn't keep paying us, and we would end up with, a failed project. So kudos to Ann and her team for seeing that forward. At the same time, all of that was getting off the ground, and also was picking colors for that, for the building in terms of how we were doing finishes, the flooring, working with the architectural design team when we were actually doing the building project. So again, I give Ann a lot of credit for kind of doubling both running the logisticals and the maintenance and her crew, but also getting into a lot of design elements for the project that is not my strong suit in any way, especially the finishes. So big kudos to them too. Financially, the Willett has never been doing better to my knowledge. So there was a major upgrade at the Willett in 2019 that took care of some large facility issues where we were spending a lot on Freon. But even after that happened, we still were in the negative. Since Ann's taken over the last 3 years, we've had 3 straight years in the black. So again, I'm going to give her a lot of credit for everything that she does on that side, as well as Greg and Ron that's with her. Later in the director's report, I'll be telling you about some more good news in that division, but they're rock stars over there. They keep doing a great job, and really a bright spot for our department. So happy to have her come tonight and give the presentation. I think she could talk a lot longer on lots of other things they're doing, but great presentation, and we're really lucky to have Ann and all of her team on our staff. So.
Thank you.
Hey, Ann, I've got a question. How many bodies came through during this like winter period? Because you said 17 weeks at 2.5 hockey games a week.
Yeah.
And then 1,700 tickets for the 3 days of the ice show. So ballpark, how many bodies went through that building this winter?
So Dan and I actually ran some numbers recently. It was for Gerke Park usage overall, but the vast majority of it is things we just talked about, and it was approaching 200,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well done. Oh, by the way, you better knock on wood because you said your desk wasn't going to be a mess. You better go hit something. All right. Thanks, Ann. Agenda item number 6, we'll jump right down to the director's report.
So I've got a few things. Let me just get this back so that the Zoom comes back up here. Okay, a few things. First off, I just wanted to recognize we had a long tenured member of our department choose to move on to another position, but Scott Halverson served the city for 24 years as our park superintendent. So we do have big shoes to fill in terms of institutional knowledge and all the things that Scott was involved with, but we wish him well with kind of the next chapter. But I wanted to make the Park Commission aware, as several of you have worked with him for his whole tenure with us. Moving forward with some other construction projects, another change in our staff is we did just hire our new park technician. So if you recall, we had a retirement recently. We hired Rebecca Danchek, who will begin on May 13th. So our park technician positions in the department are kind of jacks of all trades. They work across all 3 divisions. Even though we have a park technician in forestry, 2 of them. We've always had multiple park technicians in parks. Because of the influx and the busyness that goes on at the Willett and the pool and the Gerke Stadium, what we actually did with the retirement is we're going to have the position begin and end their day at Gerke Park. So they're going to back up and help with a lot more of the busyness that goes on in Gerke. Still the same job description. It didn't change kind of how we work and operate in the department, but really their home base or where they start their day and end their day will be at that location. So we're excited to bring Rebecca. She actually worked for the department at one time, so we're excited to welcome her back, and she has a lot of knowledge that will save us some time on the front end by gaining somebody back that used to work for us at one time. So she'll begin May 13th. That'll be our newest face. The project season is definitely underway again. If you've driven by Saramer Park recently, you'll see that they've been excavating and the construction fence showed up. So that project is ahead of schedule. They first believed they were going to begin around May 7th to May 8th, but they began last week already. So there's been a lot of buzz and people asking more questions about what we're doing with that project. That is scheduled to be completed by September. If they do stay ahead of schedule, certainly that might come together even sooner. But the construction fencing allows the rest of the park to still be utilized. We did lose a fair amount of the green space because the fencing has to be larger, but as they get further along, hopefully we'll be able to condense that slightly, but that project is underway. Groholski Park, all of the logging operations are done, and they've already set the grading benchmarks. Why they haven't started there yet is because of the rain. So as soon as this rain dries out enough and they can get on the site, Farner Excavating is the first contractor in there. They'll start doing the grading work. They believe they actually only have a couple weeks of that, and then they move into concrete and starting with the parking lot and other elements. So both those projects will be interesting to see them kind of go on side by side. And our crew did quite a bit of the logging removals, almost all of it actually, all the trees were cut by our parks crew, including Steve was out there a number of days, and we were able to sell a lot of that timber, which we were able to put that money right back into the project. So It was a great ability of our team to be involved with it, and we did try to save what we could. Unfortunately, some of the DNR requirements for the way the water infiltration will work on that site, we did have to take another little pocket of trees on the northeast corner that we originally had saved and shifted around, but it dealt with the stormwater retention ordinances and the DNR regulations, so we had to make a small modification there. But that project was also scheduled to begin here anytime now, and it's supposed to be done in August, so we should have 2 kind of park unveilings at the end of the summer season heading into the fall. The other thing I wanted to mention is this year is the 40th anniversary of the Riverfront Rendezvous. So not the 40th year in calendar years. I've had this question quite a few times. It's the 40th anniversary of the event actually beginning. So we just released all of the entertainment lineup, and we'll have the full schedule of all of the family activities and things that are going on coming out here soon too. The really the newest item this year is we are bringing a carnival back. So we're able to work with a company out of Custer, and that's going to bring carnival rides as well as some carnival games, and that'll be located on the WPS site across what we call the Family Fun Zone. So, they'll be illuminated, which will give it a whole new vibe when you're kind of approaching the site, and give a lot of that teenage and family atmosphere back to the event that we haven't had continuously other than the inflatable games. So that site will have inflatables on one end, and they'll have the carnival on the other, and then we're going to kind of pivot like the Children's Safety Day across the street next to the Cultural Commons for the fire department. The fire department is also planning a car crash demonstration, so they can kind of show some of their apparatuses and things that they do. They've been a great partner for us, where they come and show some of their talents and things they train for, let the community see it, and they are able to do that for Riverfront Rendezvous without charging us. So it's a really great collaboration between the 2 departments. So that schedule will come out here most likely in the next 2 weeks or so. We're just finishing some of the sponsorship, and I will tell you, a 40-year run on a festival, almost all credit to Tom Schrader and our predecessors from the department. But it's not to be underscored. That's a great run. I always say I hope that I don't ever stop that run, that we can just keep it going. But to see an event succeed that long is really great, and we're excited to celebrate this year. And then we'll just kind of keep. We were joking at our meeting last week. We haven't done it the same any year since I've at least been here. We've changed something, added food trucks or added inflatable games. And we're staying standpoint. We're going to have a new stage on the north side this year, so it'll be a truck. We're calling the anniversary stage on a semi-flatbed, and that field will be similar to the north, there to the bandshell main stage, where you can set up a lawn chair in front of it. So it's going to have a whole new look. So we're going to keep surprising people as they come to the grounds to say, like, oh, it's different again this year. I don't think we can do that 40 more times in a row, but at least for the 40th, it'll have a fresh new look. And again, give credit to the staff. They're continually running around trying to figure out, as we're moving stuff. We have binders with pictures, and it was the same for a lot of years. Well, now you can almost throw that binder away because we're constantly pivoting and saying, hey, let's move it here, here, here. Luckily, John Quirk in the community media department, they fly a drone for us every year and take a picture of everything set up. So we're able to actually put it on the screen and lay it out a little bit with, just kind of pen marks saying, hey, this is what's going to be, and that allows us to get that done. So if you have an opportunity, July 4th, 5th, and 6th, we'd love to have you down there. I'll offer to the Park Commission if you want to get behind the main stage and meet a band. I probably can make that work for you. So that'll be my carrot if anyone wants to come down. You'd be welcome to kind of see behind the curtain if you want a little bit as well of some of the setup items and things that we do. So other than that, this is our busiest time of year. We're doing all of our hiring, and the parks are getting started. So we do have the interviewing process going to begin here shortly for the park superintendent. But at that same time, we're onboarding 25 seasonals-ish to get all the lawn mowing and things done here too. And Ann will be heading towards pool season here very soon. So this is about our next busiest 60 days of the year, every year, but it goes quick. So after that, we try to say it's on autopilot. Never really is, but we do enjoy this time. We bring a lot of young faces in, kind of gives us some new energy to the department, so we enjoy that quite a bit. So that's my report.
Questions for Dan?
You get a lot of applicants for the superintendent job?
I think right now we're in the mid-20s. So, years ago, those positions would acquire a lot more. Even, say, park technician positions, it would be 50, 60. I think we ended up around 30-something on that. So, better than it could be, but still not as great as what they used to be, I guess is the best way to phrase it.
Yeah.
Other questions for Dan? All right, moving down to agenda item number 7. It's that time of year. We are due to elect officers. So the president, vice president, or chair and vice chair, whatever we call them, of the Parks Commission.
So I can take this part. So yes, it is that time. I guess ultimately I'll open it up here to nominations, starting with the president position, and we can accept any nominations that someone would like to make. Go ahead.
I would like to nominate John O'Connick for the president.
Okay. John, would you accept?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd second that.
All right. So we have a nomination for John O'Connick as president, and we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Chair, you want to take the vice president nomination? Run that. You want to, I just offer to accept nominations.
Yes, I accept. Or what are you asking?
So just put it out, asking for nominations.
Oh,
down
nominations for vice president?
Aye.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Wayne Sorensen, a
Second.
well-experienced person.
I'll accept.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
We're good there. All right, I guess all we got left then is adjournment, Mr. Chair.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Yeah, wait, we got, oh, sorry, it's not you, but I just want to point out that there's a hand up down at the end.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Well adjourned, thank you.
Okay. We're adjourned at 7:03.
Wow, that was.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.